Hey YouTube land, it's Dicanderous here doing another action figure review, and this time it's for the McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman. Now these figures have kind of just hit over here in Ireland. I think they're into wave 3 already, or if not more, in the States. But they have a select few of these in our local local chain store, toy chain store called Smith's. So out of the figures that they had, I picked up this one. The other figures that they had on the shelf was the animated Batman, which they seem to have lots of. He seems to be peg warming. I think it's mainly because not that long ago they had the other animated, the DC Collectibles animated line, so people probably got multiples of them, and that's why he's peg warming. There's the Arkham Asylum, or the Arkham Asylum video game version of Batman. I didn't see the I think the new 52 version of Batman. They also had the movie Wonder Woman, which I will pick up at some point. They said they had Joker, Arkham Asylum Joker. They said there was 5 in stock, but there was not a single one on the shelf, so he didn't seem to be there. That's in my local one. It could be different in other stores, but for this review, I'm reviewing Superman. This is the I think it was Action Comics. He's just fallen over. Action Comics 1000 version of Superman. So if I flip around the back of the box, it shows other characters. So there's an animated Superman, a Superman which I can't read the rating on. What does it say? Unchained Armor, I think it says, which is this thing, which looks pretty badass. Then there's the Batman Detective Comics 1000. Actually, I think that's the one that they were supposed to have, but they didn't have it. Then there's Batman, the Batman Who Laughs, which is that weird crossover with kind of a Batman with a Joker smile type thing. Don't know anything about the comic to that one. And then there's a Raptor, which is like a vehicle in the line. They didn't have the vehicle, they just had the figures, which come in as shown in these big window style boxes. The packaging is pretty plain enough. It's not like, it doesn't have comic strips or anything along the sides or anything like that. There is the image on the back of the character that you're getting, which is the same image that you get on the little collector card that's included, which I didn't take out of the packaging, I left it in there. Not a big collector of collector cards. But the figure is fairly sparse on accessories compared to the Batman figures and some of the other ones, which is understandably so. Superman generally doesn't need any accessories other than alternate hands, which he has 2 of. So you get a grip hand, which has a sort of trigger finger. I'm assuming it's a reuse. I would imagine it's a reuse hand for other characters that would require a trigger finger hand, so they just popped it in. You have an open hand, which is good for flight poses. And then the hands that are on him is another open hand for the right hand, and then a fist hand for the left. He only has the one fist hand. It would have been nice if you had a fist for the right hand as well as the left hand, but instead he gets the gripping right hand. And the pegs for these are quite big, so you shouldn't be too worried about them snapping. Still always be careful with them, but they are quite good, so you can get those kind of flying poses on him. If I can just angle his head back, it does angle back quite a bit, and his body does go back quite a bit, so you can do either flight poses where his hands are just down to the sides, or kind of neutral poses, or you can do quite a lot of posing with this guy, which is one of the cool things about him. Now, if I just stand him back a touch, and I'll bring in the tape measure, he does stand a little over 7, just around 7 inches, maybe just a hair over. And it is a very nice sculpt. The one other accessory that comes with this is this. And it's one thing every Superman figure ever made should always come with, which is a display stand But not only a display stand, it is a flight stand. So you can actually, has a graspy claw thing and a hinge that goes up and down. And if you want, it's easier to do over the cape and just around. I guarantee now he's probably going to just go flop onto the ground, but you can get him in flight poses. I know that looks like a terrible flight pose, but you can get him in some dynamic flight poses. So it looks really good on the shelf. Of course, if you don't want him to be in a flight pose, you can use the stand just for him to stand on. He does have peg hold on the feet, and there's one peg hole on the base. It probably would be easier to disassemble the base if you don't, or the flight stand, and just put him on that way. I actually haven't used them on it, but you can get them. Again, if I just angle my camera down a touch, you see it does stand on the base. But more than likely, you're going to want to have him in a flight pose, so you can do that. Getting onto the articulation, he is quite articulated. So the head is on a ball joint, so you get some good range of movement. Left, right, you get a good down movement. He can look back a bit, not perfectly back, but it does get, with the addition of the chest crunch, you can get some quite far back. He can crunch quite forward. He has a double joint on the chest, so one at the bottom of the waist, one midsection, so you can get some good posing out of that. He does have butterfly joints in the shoulders, in the arms, and rotation. Cape does get in the way a tiny bit, so you have to kind of angle the arm out a touch. The cape is a solid plastic, it's not like a material. I'm not sure if would have preferred a material cape. I think the solid plastic one works a bit better for Superman, especially with the display stand. So when it is connected to him, it's not just drooping down. It actually kind of gives a flow to it. It has a really nice Superman symbol. It's done in a chrome, metallic. It's almost a chrome metallic red with yellow accent. There is a little bit of paint bleeding just here on my one, but that's just mine. Then he has like the regular red trunks, red boots, and then the red cape. The cape doesn't have the super symbol or the House of Jor-El. Is that the right one? Yeah, he doesn't have the symbol on the back. So there's that. The yellow on the belt isn't too bad. There's not too much bleeding on that either. It doesn't seem to be done too badly. Arms can go out that much. They have the butterfly joints, so you get a good range of movement on them. There is an upper shoulder swivel. There is only a single jointed elbow. There's no joint swivel in the elbow. Then you have a ratchet in the wrist, but it also swivels, so you can get some really good posing out of it. It looks good when you use the kind of punching hand as well. You can get some good action poses for the punch, or you can get the old classic up and away kind of pose. His legs do split that much. You can go kick forward that much, kick back about that much. He doesn't have that kind of drop thing, the ankle drop or the hip drop that some figures do. You can do a full bend on the knee for whatever reason you would want Superman to look that way. One thing that's interesting is the elbows are ratcheted, and because of the design of the uniform, when you have the ratchet all the way, and you can see the little indentations where the ratchet starts, but it also kind of looks like it's part of the uniform, which is kind of interesting, because the uniform, I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up, but there is kind of texturing on it. It's like, it's not just all this kind of mid blue, kind of plain blue. There's lines, there's sculpting detail going on. I don't think it's the same on the knees. The knees don't seem to have that thing kind of poking through, but you do get that. Leg is on a ball joint, and just bring it up so you can see it in the camera. Leg is on a ball joint, rotates, the ball joint rotates, and you also start moving it out of the way, so you get quite a good range of movement. And you also have a a foot hinge as well. So all in all, it has quite a spectacular range of movement, especially for a McFarlane figure. I know he's been they've been knocking it out of the park a bit with the more recent figures, especially like stuff like the Spawn that's due out and things like that. They're supposed to be getting more articulation on them. But overall, it's quite a nice figure. Just get him to stand. Bear with me a moment. Oh, and the legs do have a slight swivel at the hip as well. Just get him into a sort of a neutral standing position. He should stand. He was standing, but I think he might have made his ankle a little bit loose. There we go. So he has he doesn't have as many accessories as, say, Batman would have, because some of the Batman I've seen have, like, you know, the grapple launchers and stuff like that, and batarangs and alternate hands. So as I said, generally though, you wouldn't expect that with Superman. But just for a size comparison, here he is next to one of the NECA movie turtles. Here he is next to another McFarlane figure, which is one of the Fortnite figures. Here he is next to one of the Predators from NECA. The reason I got the Superman really is this is probably the closest I'll ever get to having that Dark Horse 2-pack that NECA put out. The Superman, I think it was for Superman versus Predator. It could have been Superman versus Aliens. I can't remember if it was an alien or xenomorph or the Predator that he came versus with, but it's close as I'll probably get to that 2-pack. And then just for another movie style figure, here he is with the NECA Keating Batman. He actually stands a little bit taller than him. I know it doesn't look too tall on screen, but if I just bring him back to his height, you can see he does stand a tiny bit taller than the NECA Batman. So overall, he's a really cool figure. I do recommend picking him up if you can get him. He isn't too expensive as well. I think they're well, over here they're about 25 euros for each figure. I think they're a bit cheaper in the States with the dollar to euro exchange rate. So at the time of this recording, they should be available. So if you like Superman, or like me, if you just wanted to get Superman to go with your to mimic that Dark Horse set from NECA, he is a good stand-in. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and as I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.